This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Cancer and Cancer Rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Leo, happening on July the 29th at 3:54 a.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. Let's enjoy the clearing. Let's enjoy this moment right here, right now, to let the energy of Leo season wash over us, to reignite our pride and our self-confidence and our heart-led vibrancy. We're coming off of Cancer season, so this has been a lot of your power. You know, there's been a lot of emotional ebbs and flows that have had to be worked with and guided through, and bless you Cancer, this is, your station. You've been very adept at dealing with these waters. As we move from Cancer to Leo, we kind of emerge in some way. We sort of come up for air and allow the light on our face. I think in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a moment of peak summer, so there's going to be a lot of beautiful vitamin D to absorb and to really thrive and flourish in. For us in the Southern Hemisphere, it would be a great time to get around a fire, I think, to really seek it out. And if it's a bonfire, if you have a fireplace at home, something like that, but really commune with that element during Leo season and come to reacquaint yourself with the power of fire and passion. Fire represents passion and sexuality and drive and spirit as well. There's a lot of connection to the other world beyond the veil to be found in the fire. A lot of quick, direct messages. So this is Leo season. This is where we're sitting, and we've only been a week in and we get our first lunation of the season, which is a new moon in Leo. So at 5 degrees of Leo, this is happening. The tarot card for that point is the 5 of Wands, which is an interesting energy. And I like that it's 5 degrees, and also it's the 5 of Wands card. Lots of fives in numerology come to suggest change is afoot. And I don't know much about numerology. It's not really a line of study that I'm journeying down, but I do absorb it and I do recognize. I have been recognizing that I can't help it whenever I glance over a clock face. It's double figures. It's 1111 or 444 or whatever it is. There's repetition in the numbers. And when we think about 5 in the tarot, it always represents change, a shift from one state to the next. So the 5 of Wands is interesting. It is a sparring match in a lot of ways. It is a test of will. It's a battle, but it's not life or death. It's something about proving oneself or standing above, rising above, stepping up and allowing space for our flame to burn and for our contribution to be heard. So this is an interesting energy to work with at this new moon. If we step into our lion body, our princess of the jungle, this is a great energy to work with, because for you Cancer, Leo rules your second house, which is your talent, your self-worth, your access to material stability and safety, your money-making potential. It's your all of those things. So it's that drive, that confidence when it comes to thinking outside of the box, or of manifesting your skills. You know, to have Leo rule the second, if you're a performer in some aspect or an artist, or if there's a confidence, and it doesn't have to be now, perhaps that's sort of petered off, but that's lived experience, we can get you back to this space. And that's what the new moon is for, is to reignite any embers that may be suffering. So when it comes to your material access, this is what I want you to think about. I want you to manifest and to wish and put it out there, and to cast a spell at this new moon for what you hope to happen in your second house. There's a lot of relationship that's going on with a separate aspect that I want to discuss with you. In a Cancer rising birth chart, Leo rules the second. In the natural zodiac, Taurus rules the second. So if you think about all of the high vibration Taurian qualities, think about luxury and having enough, and having access to beautiful wines and foods and fabrics, and the sensual side of life really is the second house. So Taurus rules that space in the natural zodiac, and here we are coming to grips with facing a triple conjunction that hasn't happened for some 2,000 years. Since Alexander the Great was the last time that these specific planets and this point lined up in the way that they're doing now. This is coming a couple of days after this new moon. So if we can use the powers of the lion and harness that energy at the new moon, and to make our wishes for what we hope to achieve and what we wish to call in our second house, this will aid us in the potential combustion that's about to occur to the collective, and we can relate this to your own chart as well. So in Taurus, where we're having these eclipses, so since November of last year until July of next year, the eclipses are happening on Taurus and Scorpio, so there's been some big karmic retribution to deal with, and shifts and changes that have been occurring for you on the axis of your 11th and your 5th house. 11th being Taurus for Cancer rising, which is community. So friendships and your position in the greater surrounds, humanity. And also Scorpio rules the 5th, so creativity and sexuality, and there's been a push and pull between those two different energies, and things to really let go of, and things that we've had to let go of. This triple conjunction is occurring in Taurus. If the eclipses weren't enough, Uranus has showed up, which is the planet of rebellion. And Uranus has been in Taurus for some time, but this alignment is specific to the beginning of August. If we think rebel, and then if we welcome in Mars, who is completing this triple conjunction, Mars is the warrior, Mars is the fire starter, Mars is the one that strikes the match. So something's going to give. In a collective sense, we bring that to the collective sense of second house, of money and stability and access to material wealth. The big banks are going through crisis right now, having to pay back everyone that they owe, that they've just been pilfering off. There's governments that seem to be falling. Taurus is about power and about sort of not hierarchy at all, but definitely about the individual, our access to these things. There's something about this pyramid that we've all been living under that's about to crumble. I have a feeling. So let's remap Taurus in your 11th house, in your micro experience. There might be some combustion about to occur as to what your role in the collective is, or what you thought community was, what you thought your role in that space was, or your friendship groups and your Yeah, greater sense of humankind. It could be a community that you belong to. If you're a queer person, it could be the queer community. It could be something is going to give here. And what I would suggest, just because there is so much fire burning, simmering away there, would be mindful of those interactions. So in terms of your sense of community, be mindful of the pressure cooker that's going on here, let alone the eclipses. Pay extra special mind of Taurians in your life, I would suggest, because this is all in their first house of the self. And this is a difficult one to deal with. Positive and fruitful, but a lot of pressure. So that actually might be a good way to navigate this transit, is to activate your community leader. What can you see others need right now in this moment? And after this fire has happened, how can you contribute, and how can you pay it forward? The tarot card that lines up with 18 degrees in Taurus is the Six of Pentacles, which is all about that sentiment, about giving when you have enough and receiving when you need it. That localized sort of flow of transaction. So this is nice to hold in your back pocket as we enter this time for that transit. So back to the moon, individuation, the self, your talents, your skills. What can we call in, and how can we call that in terms of the lion, that confidence, that fire, that pride? What are you proud of about your ability to gather together and to provide for yourself and other people? What would you like to achieve in that space? This moon's the perfect time to call it in and to ask for it, and not be shy about it, because it's going to benefit the collective eventually, the 11th. It's going to benefit everyone else as this combustion happens. So best do it now. Best start making that plan now. That's the astrology. I'm going to read some intuitive cards to help you on your way in your relationship with the lion. So Spirit, please tell me, what does Cancer need to hear right now as we prepare them for this second house manifestation when it comes to their talents and their skills and their access to abundance, their access to pleasure. Got the Hanged One. I can see that. I got the Eight of Swords and the Hermit. Yep. The pressure's on, I feel, Cancer, buried somewhere. You know, there's definitely, second house is definitely at the forefront of your mind, and you feel in some ways that you may be in a moment of stillness. There's something about a stopgap that's occurring right now. And it could be the winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. It could be this moment of hibernation that is having this occur. But I feel that your access to what's beyond the veil is growing. I feel that there's a nice meditation here, and there's, in this quiet time, there's a separation from the grind and the push and the pull to achieve and to accrue, and you have a moment to yourself where you can realign and figure out what it is you really want and what is the hard work all for. This is anxiety. This is binding to a certain idea or a certain point of consciousness, a certain reality. What you're realizing is that you have the capacity to break free of this. And as you're in this moment of contemplation and quiet, the limitations that are maybe presenting themselves to you, or that you're realizing that these limitations are gaseous, and that potentially they don't exist, and there is a way out of this. There's a different route for you. Maybe not what you thought in your pride child mode. Maybe what you thought was the destiny is not so, but the rerouting is becoming very clear to you, and this is being backed up here. We've got two positions here of solitude. The hermit is enlightened. The hermit has access to the star. The hermit knows what meditation really means and what spaces can be explored and discovered in absolute stillness and quiet. So I think what I'm getting here, Cancer, is that there may be some turbulence that you can feel, and it may, it's been a very difficult time. Let's face it. It has been incredibly, an incredibly long road, and an incredible test of patience and will to exist through this and to regroup time and again, and to be met with the new challenges and the new confrontations and the new limitations. But you're realizing now that you're becoming a master of that. And there's a great power in stillness, and a great power in quiet, and a great power in self-reflection. Because when we do the internal work, we can then journey forward, and we can open up, and we can provide for others in ways that we never thought possible. So that's your tarot reading for this new moon in Leo, Cancer. I hope that there's been some things that I've said in there that are hitting home and that you can work with as you call in your abundance on the 29th. Keep in mind this triple conjunction that's happening a few days after. Don't fear it. We don't learn about astrology to prescribe ourselves a doomed fate. We never do that. It's all energy to work with. If you'd like to tip me, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. I'm accepting tips in the tip jar, as always. I'm very grateful for them. And if you wanted your birth chart read, you can head to umaruby.com, and there's a full listing of many different journeys that we can take together if that's something that you'd like to explore further in terms of your specific blueprint of your soul, your birth chart, your planetary alignments, your tarot cards. Other than that, stay proud, stay bright, stay confident, and if you're not there yet, you're going to get there. So call in that beautiful lion mane. I love you very much, and I can't wait to speak to you in 2 weeks at the full moon in Aquarius. Until then, bye.